Hi, I hope you're having a great day. It's been a long time since I made a video about the National Caregiver Certification Exam questions and of course, their corresponding answers. So,
moving forward,
I decided to dedicate my videos to the National Caregiver Certification Exam. Needless to say, I would not guarantee that by watching this video, you will pass the said exam. No, but at the very least, I really do hope you can get something out of this. In today's video, we will discuss the 29th介護福祉士国家試験. Welcome back to NikkoVenture. Miss A, 79 years of age, has been living in a Kaigo Rojin Fukushi Shisetsu. Kaigo Rojin Fukushi Shisetsu is another name for the caregiving facility here in Japan, also called Tokubetsu Yogo Rojin Homu. This particular caregiving facility has two names because it was defined by two different Japanese laws. The first one is the Rojin Fukushi Shisetsu, which called the facility Tokubetsu Yogo Rojin Homu. The second Japanese law is the Kaigo Hokenho, which named this particular facility Kaigo Rojin Fukushi Shisetsu. And get this, the only difference between these two is their names. The services they provide and the people they provide those services to are also the same. So, in the exam, if you encounter a question talking about the Kaigo Rojin Fukushi Shisetsu, it is 100,000% talking about Tokubetsu Yogo Rojin Homu and vice versa. So, going back, Miss A has no Kekkan Shogai or cerebrovascular disorder. She has some problems with the blood flow in her brain. As a result, she has left-sided paralysis and uses a cane to move about. Miss A has always been talkative towards the staff and other residents of the facility. Then, one day, while she was walking in the dining hall, her leg hit a chair and she fell, causing a sprain, or in Japanese, nenza. As we already know, sprains are pretty painful and it made Miss A unable to walk like before. To move, she had to use a wheelchair. After a week, the sprain was completely healed. However, Miss A refused to walk and continued using her wheelchair to move about. Gradually, Miss A became less talkative, stating that she is anxious about walking again and causing trouble to the people around her. The question: as a caregiver, what would you do in Miss A's case? Choice number 1. A さんは口数が少ない様子なので、できるだけ話しかけないように心がける. If you translate this choice into English, it would mean ignore her. Remember that in the situation we have just read, Miss A stated that she is anxious about walking again. She also stated that she is anxious about causing trouble to the people around her for not being able to walk again. She became less talkative because of her anxiety after she fell and hurt herself. And it would not be good for a caregiver, it would not be good for you to just stop talking to her and just basically ignore her. Choice number 2. A さんの自立を考えて、再び歩くことができるように何度も声をかける. This choice uses the word jiritsu, which is one of the most common terms in Japanese caregiving. Yes, it is correct to think about Miss A's jiritsu, or independence for that matter. However, the issue here is not Mrs. A's independence or jiritsu, but her anxiety or fuan. As a caregiver, if you only continue encouraging Miss A to walk on her own because of jiritsu without addressing her anxiety first, then your encouragement would be eventually useless. And you're just basically forcing Miss A to walk on her own. Forcing her to walk while she is still anxious about walking might become another cause for another accident. Choice number 3. 仲の良い利用者に頑張って歩くように励ましてもらう. This is just the same with choice number 2. Only this time you are asking another resident, another elderly, to do the encouragement for you. Again, encouraging Miss A to walk on her own again without addressing her anxiety would not do any good. Choice number 4. A さんの担当の介護福祉職に再び歩くように説得してもらう. Again, this is wrong because it is the same concept as choices number 2 and number 3. Choice number 5. 食堂のテーブルや椅子の配置を見直して一緒に歩いてみようと働きかける。As mentioned earlier, we should address Miss A's anxiety first. Why is she anxious about walking again? She is anxious about walking again because she is afraid of hitting a chair or table and falling again. Once we understand the cause of her anxiety, we can now eliminate that cause of anxiety. She is afraid about walking again because she is afraid of hitting a chair or a table. We can rearrange the chairs and tables in a way that would prevent the reoccurrence of Miss A's accident. At this time, any encouragement we do to her would now be useful. We can encourage her to walk with us, further eliminating her anxiety and re-establishing her confidence of walking again on her own. 障害児者に対してノーマライゼーションの理念を実現するための方策として最も適切なものを一つ選びなさい。Before we can answer this question, we all need to know what is normalization. So, normalization とは障害の有無や加齢に関係なく誰もが住み慣れた地域で共に普通に生活できる社会を実現しようという考え方です。Japanese tip. Whenever you encounter normalization in the exam, always think about this phrase. 障害の有無や加齢に関係なく住み慣れた地域で共に普通に生活できる。You don't need to read long paragraphs about normalization. Just remember that phrase and you're good to go. That's because this is the basic definition and main purpose of a normalization. In other words, a normalization is a way of thinking or a philosophy which claims that people can live together equally in a familiar environment regardless of their age and disability. Choice number 1. 障害の原因となる疾病の完治を目指して治療すること。If you go back to the definition and purpose of normalization, nothing in it describes diseases or 疾病 and treatment or 治療。Choice number 2. 生涯種別ごとに同じ職業に就くことができるように訓練すること。Again, nothing in the definition and purpose of normalization describes work or occupation. Choice number 3. 障害児と障害者が一緒に施設で暮らすこと。Now, the definition and purpose of normalization did state about living together, but not in a shisetsu or a caregiving facility, but in a familiar community, or in Japanese, suminarita chiiki. Chiiki and shisetsu are two very different things. Choice number 5. 障害者の経済的水準を一定にすること。Again, if we read the definition and purpose of normalization, it doesn't state anything about finance or anything financial. Choice number 4. The correct answer. 普通の生活環境に近づけること。Dude, you can literally find these same kanji characters in the definition and purpose of normalization. Normalization is a very common topic in the exam, so it would do us well to familiarize ourselves with it. Oh, before I forgot, the man or the person who came up with normalization is a man from Denmark named Banku Mikkelsen. The next question is asking us to select the correct statement about Jikokaiji. Jikokaiji is self-disclosure. It is the time where you open up to another person, revealing various information about yourself to that person. Choice number 1 states that you do Jikokaiji to make the other person feel or think good about you. This is wrong. The main purpose of Jikokaiji is to deepen mutual understanding, not to feed your narcissistic ego. Choice number 2 states that you disclose as much information as possible to people you meet for the first time. This is absolutely wrong. When disclosing information, consider your relationship with the other party. Too much self-disclosure to someone you're not familiar with can hurt your relationship. Hinay-hinay lang sa pag-share mga marites. Choice number 3 states that Jikokaiji is done to forcibly extract information from the other person. Again, the purpose of Jikokaiji is to deepen mutual understanding, not to extract information from the other person.
Your soul is mine.
No. Choice number 5 states that Jikokaiji is done to narrow the open area of the Johari window. The Johari window looks like this, and is a technique used to help people better understand their relationship with themselves and others. The Johari window has 4 sections: the open area, the part of ourself that is known to us and others; the blind spot, the part of ourself that is known to others but we are unaware of; the hidden area, the part of ourself that we know but hide from others; and the unknown area, the part of ourself that neither ourselves nor others know. The open area that choice number 5 is talking about is the one here. The open area of the Johari window is where all the information known to you and the other person can be found. And since the purpose of Jikokaiji is to deepen mutual understanding, it just makes no sense to narrow the open area. Instead of narrowing it, we should expand it to encourage deeper understanding with one another. So choice number 5 is also wrong. Choice number 4 states that doing Jikokaiji builds good relationships. This is correct since a deeper understanding with one another would avoid conflict and build a stronger foundation of your relationships with other human beings. Mr. B, 60 years of age, has been deaf since birth. After entering the school for the deaf, communication with peers that has the same disability as him has been Mr. B's source of emotional support. A few years ago, however, Mr. B developed glaucoma, or in Japanese, ryokunaisho, which left him with visual impairment. Both of his eyes have enough vision to sense light and darkness only. We are asked to choose the most appropriate method for smooth communication with Mr. B. Choice number 2 reads as hitsudan, or communication in writing. This is wrong because Mr. B has ryokunaisho, or glaucoma, leaving his vision to only see lightness and darkness. Identifying words for Mr. B is obviously difficult. Choice number 3 is Tenji, or Braille, the written language for blind people. Although Tenji or Braille seems to be a good means or method for Mr. B to communicate and read again, Braille or Tenji must be learned by a blind person, and it is not easy to learn Braille. Moreover, Mr. B was already over 60 years of age when he got glaucoma or ryokunaisho. Being in his later years, it might be difficult or tiring for Mr. B to put on the effort in learning Braille. Choice number 4 is Tomei Mojiban, or transparent dial, and it looks like this. It is a communication tool that allows people who have difficulty speaking to convey their intentions by following the characters printed on a transparent acrylic plate with their eyes. In other words, people who have difficulty speaking uses Tomei Mojiban to read or to speak by reading the letters using their eyes. This is wrong because once again, Mr. B can only see lightness and darkness. Choice number 5 is read as Keitai yo Kaiwa Hojo Sochi, or the portable communication aid, and it looks like this. As you can see, a keyboard with letters. Again, Mr. B can only see lightness and...
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
The correct answer is choice number 1, which is read as shokushua, or literally sign language through touch. Shokushua is a means of communication used by people who are both blind and deaf, or in Japanese, morosha. Shokushua looks like this. The speaker uses sign language and the listener communicates by touching the speaker's hand. Mr. B is deaf since birth. That makes him rosha. And due to his glaucoma or ryokunaisho, he is also technically blind or mosha. So that's it for today's video. Those were the exam questions, past exam questions under the categories of Ningen no Songen to Jiritsu and Ningen Kanke to Communication. In the next video, we will discuss the past exam questions under the category Shakai no Rikai. Shakai no Rikai has 10 or more questions, and I do hope I can squeeze them in a single video. In the meantime, you can check all the videos on your screen right now for more exam questions and of course their answers and other caregiving words used at work. If you've learned something from this video, leave a comment, like this video, and of course share this video with an interested friend. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much for your time watching this video. See you on the next one. Bye.